Gibuju inenim, Miskawawa te inene, and Dishnik Has, Wabski Maingan, and Odame, Naning Nimede, Kinebik, Minis, and Dunji. I want to tell you a little bit about what we call Nokweziwin. It's the burning of medicine. In English, most people would say this is smudging. And right now my fire is trying to smudge me really good. But that's totally fine that it does that. My earliest memory is of this ceremony is of my dad smudging our home. He would use a big metal frying pan, cast iron, and he would get coals from the stove. We used wood stoves long ago. And he would put cedar on those, and then he'd go around the house and smudge everywhere. And I wasn't really too appreciative of the smoke at that time. I used to want to read and do stuff. And that smoke would get in your eyes, would be kind of hard. And they never really talked about what they were doing. They just went ahead and did it. And maybe because earlier, before that, our ways were outlawed by the federal government, so people didn't talk too much about what they were doing. But that was my memory. My dad would smudge our home, and they would do that every once in a while. I didn't know why. Usually I would just go outside and play out there. That was before I went to school. So kind of in memory of that, I brought a little wee cast iron frying pan. It's just small, and I just blew ashes all over. And I have some cedar, so I could put a little bit of cedar onto that coal that I have in there. And I just want to remember too that we have 4 medicines, our main ones that we use for smudging. That first one, it's called Wiengashk, and this is sweetgrass in English. And it smells very sweet, that's why it's called that. That second one, what I called cedar in English, it's called Gishkandak in Ojibwe, Gijikkandak. And that next one, there's 2 kinds here. This one here, we call Mashkode Washk. And that means that it's a prairie plant, but that mashkode, mashkozi is like to be strong, and ode is a heart. So this is like strong heart medicine, eh? That's what you call sage. And that one was, in Ojibwe you call it a male sage. And then there's a plant that looks like this one, it's dried, and they call that female sage because it has all the seeds. In English, those would be considered 2 different kinds of plants, so they would not be classified together. But Ojibwe people classify things a little bit different than English people do. And so they would classify them separately in English, whereas we would put them together. That first one, the male sage, is used for smudging pretty well only. And then the second one is used to make medicinal tea with. There's kind of a difference in how you work with them. But when you're going to smudge, again, it's good to remove your glasses if you wear them. Some people remove their jewelry, others don't. One of the elders that I worked with, he said, you weren't born with jewelry on, so take it off. And then you're more humble when you don't have those things. But another elder said that shiny jewelry represents how shiny this sweetgrass is. And so it represents kindness when you wear jewelry, so you can keep it on and clean that too. So there's more than one teaching because there's more than one person and more than one thought on the matter. And you have to decide how it is that you're going to do these things. I almost dropped my glasses there. So when you're going to smudge, now you have your smudge going. And if you don't have coals, like I do here because I have a fire, then you can make a little ball of that male sage and light that and it will smolder. And you can either use that or you can put other medicine on top. You might want to put a little sweetgrass on there, a little cedar. And if you want it really strong, then you put tobacco. But the store-bought tobacco is too strong for smudging indoors, I think. You need to use that outdoors. Our natural tobacco is red willow, the inner bark, and bearberry and the female sage seeds. Those are what we put together to make the traditional tobacco. That one smells really nice, so you can use that one indoors if you smudge. You just gotta grind it up so it's a powder, and then you can sprinkle it on there. And then when you're smudging, you can smudge yourself. It's good to wash that smoke over your head, because your mind needs to be cleansed, over your eyes so that you see something beautiful and good in this day. You can smudge your mouth so that you'll say good words. Smudge your heart so that you have good feelings. Your hands to do good work with them. Smudge your feet so that you walk in a good way on this earth. However you want to complete that, that's up to you. Sometimes people take a deep inhale of that smudge. Sometimes it's kind of hard if the sage is a little bit harsh. So it's kind of up to you how you do that. But this is how we always began things. And so the first thing that we would do is to begin with a smudge. And after the smudge, then we would go to the tobacco and then talk with our tobacco, or to do a pipe ceremony if that was the next part that we're doing. And then after all of that is done, then we get down to business. And so there's a process here that people go through, and it was how we were taught. And I know other nations have other teachings about how they burn their medicine, how they do it, who can do it, and so on. But this is how Ojibwe and Anishinaabe have taught their children. And it's good to investigate and learn about other nations, but you have to choose which one is yours. So when I was young, I listened to different elders from all over Mikinak-Minis, all over Turtle Island. But I settled down to be that which was both of my grandmothers' ways of doing things from their families. So miigwech for listening, and I hope you have a really good day, whatever it is that you're doing, and I hope that school is good for you this year. Miigwech.